Story 1. Less impulse spending. More, do I actually need this? Or am I just bored, tired, or stressed? That question alone probably saved hundreds. Story 2. I have become more mindful of my spending, focusing on what is necessary and cutting back on unnecessary expenses. I am also paying more attention to savings and looking for discounts. Story 3. I tried to spend less. I believe this applies to most people in this economy. I hope it will get better someday. Story 4. I took Trump's tariff threats seriously and bought as many durable goods as I could before the inauguration. This included major upgrades in personal computer components, electronics, and cars. I saved several $1,000s, only to lose several $100,000 in the equities markets when the tariffs were implemented. I feel like I missed the bigger picture here, to be honest. Story 5. Yes, essentials only. I am also planning a garden to save more money. The stock market is the canary in the coal mine. Hard times are ahead due to the Republican administration's tariffs and poor treatment of our allies. Story 6. An extended dissociative episode has been beneficial for my bank account. Who needs luxuries when you are barely aware of the passing days? Story 7. If I have food at home, I eat at home. I limit buying any snacks at work to around $5 a day, if that. I will refill my plastic water bottles for a couple of months before buying a new one. I have also been trying to cut back on smoking to save some money. I started using cheaper gasoline in my car, which does not hurt it. The single most important thing I have started doing this year is working at least 8 hours of overtime a week to offset any bills and necessary spending during the month. All of this has nearly tripled the amount of money I am taking in and saving. Story 8. I stopped buying from Amazon and now only purchase from local stores, even if it's inconvenient. I try to get as much food as possible from the local farmers market and have sourced all gifts for my family from there for the past 4 months. I won't return to online shopping unless there is a desperate need. Story 9. I have been eating out less and no longer use Amazon. I do not pay for beauty treatments anymore, but I do invest in quality skincare. I am shopping less in general and focusing on exploring my own city instead of traveling far. Story 10. I stopped drinking. I stopped shopping out of boredom. I stopped impulse buying. I base my meals around items I already have in the fridge or pantry and shop only to supplement. Story 11. My housemate moved out in December, so now the kitchen is not too cluttered and dirty to use. We don't order takeout as much and only spend about $100 to $200 a month on outside food. Other than that, not much has changed. Story 12. We are moving soon and need to get new furniture, so I am only allowing myself to buy secondhand. Story 13. My wife and I have become fairly thrifty when it comes to dining out. Where we live, dinner and drinks for two at a mid-tier restaurant can easily cost $150 after tip. Our local radio stations regularly promote coupon offerings for a variety of participating restaurants. Usually, you pay $25 for a coupon valued at $50 for a specific restaurant. In addition, we also use a restaurant passbook that includes buy one get one free deals for every participating brewery, winery, taproom, and pub. Yesterday, we used one of our coupons in combination with our restaurant passbook at a restaurant. What should have been a bill of over $100 was brought down to $42. Of course, be sure to base your tip on the pre-discounted bill. Story 14. I have been buying fast food for my family for the past year, about 3 times a week. I often skip making dinner and then I get hungry and irritable, so I end up feeding myself and everyone else. 2 days ago, I went to Arby's, placed my usual order, and was charged $48 instead of the $36 I was accustomed to. I paid it, went home, looked at the receipt, and realized that a value menu deal I had been using no longer exists. My fast food days are over. It has become an unaffordable luxury. Arby's is now out of reach for me. Story 15. The best way for me to save money is to avoid going out to eat. I have been reminding myself how disappointed I usually am with how expensive eating out has become, especially now that extra fees are added everywhere. I have focused primarily on having plenty of food and snacks at home, so I do not even feel the temptation of convenience, which is really the only thing eating out offers me these days. Story 16. I have deleted all shopping applications from my phone, except for a grocery store app to easily add items for the weekly pickup order. This has really helped me cut back on unnecessary impulsive purchases. Story 17. If I want to leave the house for anything other than groceries, walking my dog, or getting gas, I simply sit back down on the couch. Story 18. I have decided to withdraw from participating in the economy. If I am not compensated fairly and prices continue to rise, I will not engage. I focus on essential expenses like food, rent, and utilities. I also refuse to support organizations I disagree with, such as Chick-fil-A and Walmart. I have deleted my Amazon account and Prime membership. I feel much better now than when I was mindlessly spending money and supporting billionaires. Story 19. Canceled all streaming services. I never really watch them much except for the occasional need for background noise. My favorite thing to watch is Mystery Science Theater 3000, which is free on YouTube, Twitch, and their own website. As for music, I realized I just listened to the same playlists all the time, so I discontinued my subscription to Spotify and now purchase vinyl records through Bandcamp, which includes free digital downloads and unlimited streaming of my purchased music through their app. For the music I already own on vinyl that isn't free to download, I can use Audacity to record any sound coming from my computer. I also mostly cook food from home, and thanks to my past barista experience, I can make almost any caffeinated drink I want better and cheaper than Starbucks or Dutch Brothers. There are people out there spending $8 a day on frappuccinos. Story 20. I have been purchasing large items that I know will incur a tariff. I have acquired most of my desired items. Now I will save what I can. Story 21. Investing money in home improvements that I know will be necessary in the coming years. With rising costs for all items, I will pay now and take the risk that it may be cheaper later. Story 22. I indulge myself less on weekends. They are usually the time I can enjoy beers and chicken wings at the bar, but recently I have been cutting back. Story 23. I haven't, but I definitely need to. My hobbies keep me going, and I will be sad to stop spending money on the things that make me happy. Story 24. We have stopped going out to eat at sit-down restaurants unless it is for a specific occasion. I switched to using a smaller coffee mug, resulting in less coffee and half. I have stopped buying new clothes unless it is absolutely necessary. We canceled a trip in June and also canceled our movie subscription. One area where I spent more this year was heating gas. I increased the thermostat this winter by 2 degrees to 64 degrees Fahrenheit. These cutbacks were intended to increase our down payment fund for a house. But given the current situation, we will see how we allocate our funds. Who knows what will happen in 6 months? Story 25. I don't give myself little treats anymore. I am curbing all impulse spending because who knows if I will even have a job in a few months. Story 26. I have stopped spending on non-essentials and no longer eat out. I have completely focused on saving since January after losing my job. Every dollar is crucial now that I am unemployed. Story 27. Canceled all 2025 vacations to the United States. Stopped buying any products made in the United States. Canceled all United States streaming services as well as Amazon. Story 28. Considering I just bought a new riding mower and did a brake job on my wife's truck, I'd say my spending habits have significantly increased. Story 29. I just started this month. I've taken notes on various things and picked up journaling to keep everything in mind. My main topics already have subcategories. It's been a challenging start because I've come to realize I need to make this habit my own. I am still me, just with a new adjustment. Story 30. Rationing medication. I believe being barely functional for several months is better than running out and experiencing a sudden stop. Story 31. I don't really have a choice between mortgage, groceries, utility bills, and splitting a loan payment for our car. We have no breathing room. Story 32. I bought a few things before the tariffs that I might not have purchased if circumstances were different. Once we start feeling the effects of the tariffs, my discretionary spending will decrease. Story 33. I canceled all streaming services, except for YouTube Premium, which offers a good selection of free movies and YouTube music. Now, I primarily use my local library for books, magazines, and movies. I also have access to Libby and Canopy through my library, so I always have new media to enjoy. Story 34. I have spent more recently. I just bought a condo in a fortunate area, so I've been purchasing what we want and need right away. My girlfriend wanted a nice couch, so I got it. We needed a new budget television, and I decided to get that as well. We have mostly caught up on everything, but there are a few hobbies for which I would like to buy supplies before prices increase. I bought a used truck last fall, which was necessary. While I've spent more upfront, my plan is to acquire these items before costs rise further. Story 35. I have been stockpiling non-perishable groceries and medications as much as possible since last fall. Fast food has become a begrudgingly occasional choice, and I only indulge when I am away from home until late and absolutely need to eat something. Story 36. I did some mini stockpiling. Nothing crazy. Just buying 8 tins of tomatoes instead of 4, 5 tins of anchovies instead of 1, large bags of rice, and so on. I follow a few investing forums, and it's interesting to see many people obsessing over the stock market. Everyone is trying to find the best place to store their money while ignoring that they can use it to lock in current prices on the goods they buy regularly before inflation picks up. Story 37. Eat less from restaurants and more home-cooked meals that are simple yet filling for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. To be honest, many of these meals are simple and somewhat sad, but they work. Rice, beans, ground meat, and a bag of spinach or kale, that's all you need. Story 38. I buy pork more than any other protein because it is cheaper. Eggs are a treat for breakfast on the weekends. Story 39. I have started spending much more and recklessly recently. Usually, I manage to save some money between pay periods, but this month I ran out of funds 10 days before payday and did not pay my council tax for the first time in 8 years. Story 40. Reeling in extra spending, I buy only what I need to live. We go out to dinner once a week and avoid purchasing alcohol at restaurant prices. I've realized I have accumulated many books, games, and similar items that I need to consume before buying new ones. This summer, I am playing disc golf, which is much cheaper, if not entirely free since I own the equipment. The only thing increasing is my savings account in case of emergencies. Story 41. I bought everything I thought I might need in December. I stopped spending any extra money on unnecessary items as of January 19th. Story 42. I am temporarily disabled, and her father is dying, so we have been paying for many things we would normally do ourselves. Story 43. I have canceled all of my subscriptions, stopped going out to dinner or getting fast food, and stopped buying books. I have been doing home and car repairs myself instead of paying someone to do it. I have also started a vegetable and herb garden so that eventually I can stop buying those at the store, and I will be planting fruit trees soon. Story 44. I have stopped eating out and only do so on special occasions. I have also stopped buying items for a quick pick-me-up. I have canceled all but a few subscriptions that I share with friends, and I am more mindful of utility usage. Story 45. On vacation now, an impulsive spring break trip. We booked it believing this will be the last time we can do this for a long while. We are enjoying the trip, but it will bring austerity and a different perspective upon our return. Story 46. I have been trying to spend more money on experiences, like concerts, instead of buying things that I do not really need. I often wonder why I even bought them in the first place because I did not need them. For example, I already have way too many yoga pants, but I still consider adding one more, or I purchase junk food that I definitely do not need. I have also been trying to meal prep and actually stick to it in order to go to the grocery store less. The fewer trips I take, the less I spend. I aim to avoid buying items that I think would be fun to make in a recipe, only to have them sit in my pantry for months until I finally do something with them. Story 47. I bought several items I knew I would want for some projects I have planned, but they are likely to be significantly affected if the Republican administration enacts this tariff policy. Then I stopped spending on nearly everything non-essential. Story 48. I normally follow a strict weekly and monthly budget that includes a fun money category. However, given the current circumstances, I have been spending more than usual. I'm stocking up on essential groceries, purchasing items for home improvement, and buying some extra luxuries such as gourmet food, liquor, and skincare products ahead of schedule. I have always saved aggressively, but the cost of living has been impacting my savings. It appears that expenses are expected to increase significantly soon, so I plan to indulge a little in a controlled manner before I need to tighten my budget when things get tough. Story 49. I have always tended to spend less money and stay home more during the winter months. This year has been no different. Story 50. I am considering a spring break trip with my family. I am now thinking of going somewhere local so we can travel internationally in the summer. I am looking for a destination where hotels are affordable and food is inexpensive. Costa Rica fits that description, but we have already visited there. Story 51. I eat out less and have reduced my monthly spending by half. I am paying large bills in installments if there is no interest charge. Story 52. I have been reducing my impulse purchases lately. It is surprising how much it adds up. Feels good, honestly. Story 53. We are purchasing only essential items and stocking up on toiletries for the year, as well as canned and boxed foods for emergencies. If I need clothes, I will only buy them from the thrift store. Story 54. I bought a variety of electronics I had planned to purchase to avoid the tariffs. I also started cooking much more. This past week, I managed to cook something every day. Story 55. I used to be a horrible spender, but now I do my best to use all the groceries I have in my house instead of buying random items because I really want to make one specific dish. I go thrifting with intention, not just to do a thrift haul because it is inexpensive or a great find. The same applies to skincare and beauty products. I only buy what has proven effective for me and what I have actually run out of, instead of purchasing because the packaging is attractive or due to impulse. Story 56. Deleting social media has led to fewer advertisements, both targeted and organic from friends and connections, which helped me reevaluate the source of my spending. Currently, Reddit is the only social media platform I use, and I recently started another one to limit my involvement in communities that were contributing to my spending. I finally deleted my Amazon account on Inauguration Day, along with Whole Foods, Target, and delivery apps. I realized that even a small amount of friction, such as longer shipping times or having to visit a store or restaurant myself, significantly diminished my instant gratification. Overall, taking a close look at how I want to see myself as ethical did not align with my spending habits, which are my biggest tool on a daily basis. I grew tired of recognizing that complaining about a system while actively participating in it is lazy and hypocritical. Story 57. It is not just the last few months but the last few years. There are fewer subscriptions, and there is more investment while things are down. Story 58. I am spending a lot less on eating out because I have been getting into cooking more, but I am spending more on cannabis. Living in the United States is challenging right now, and I am not coping well. Story 59. Over the past few months, I have become more intentional with money by cutting impulse spending, planning ahead, and investing in what truly adds value. My focus shifted from prioritizing saving to becoming someone who is in control and building the life I want. Story 60. I quit my retail job. The goal was to earn extra money, but I ended up spending more than I made. Story 61. I switched my usual breakfast from 2 eggs to savory oatmeal cooked in chicken broth, and I have overall been moving towards a more plant-based diet, using more black beans and chickpeas to reduce my meat consumption. I will not be making any egg-heavy recipes, more than 1 to 2 eggs per batch, for the foreseeable future, which is unfortunate because I bought a cake leveler and turntable to try baking more layer cakes, many of which require 4 to 5 eggs. I have not shopped at retail stores since last year, but I didn't purchase items from them very often to begin with. I have always been frugal and live well below my means. I know these changes are relatively small, but this is the first time I have actually altered my habits for financial reasons. Story 62. Meal preparation involves keeping the grocery list to a bare minimum and avoiding fast food. I walk to the grocery store and try to limit my purchases. I am also getting rid of my storage unit, selling whatever I cannot fit in my spare bedroom, and discarding the rest. I don't go out much, which makes it easier to save money in that area. Additionally, I try to take advantage of sales and have significantly reduced my subscription expenses, primarily using free services or paying a smaller fee to watch advertisements. That's about it. Story 63. I stopped all my hobby spending and I am looking for a new place to live. So I need to make my bank account look good for when the real estate agent checks it. Story 64. I consider whether I need it and how long I can expect to use it before I think about purchasing it. Story 65. Yes, all Canadians and from anywhere other than the United States. Most of us will pay more to support our Canadian economy. No more travel unless it is within Canada and anywhere our allies are. We are not your scapegoat anymore. Story 66. I was going to buy a new car and a new cell phone this year, but not anymore. I will keep them until they stop working. I am eating out less and making more food at home. I am buying more generic products and not purchasing things impulsively on Amazon anymore. Just the items I really need. Story 67. I have just been working more overtime. My job pays about $52,000 a year if working only 40 hours a week. I turned it into $67,000 last year with overtime. I do not have much of a weekend life some months. My wife has been going to Sam's Club the last few months because Blue Buffalo dog food is incredibly expensive every week. There is a brand there that she now buys in a huge bag for the same price as the small blue bag, and it lasts a month. We also buy paper towels, paper plates, and similar items. Story 68. I did not change my spending. However, many of my belongings are decades old and falling apart. I am considering investing in some good quality, durable versions of my everyday items so they will last through a few years of hardship and inflation. This includes a versatile wardrobe, essential household items, shoes, emergency supplies, and medicine. I may also need to invest in a car since mine will not pass the next inspection. Prices are only going to increase from now on. Story 69. I couldn't fix my spending habits even though I don't have crazy habits, but I found the solution by getting a second job. Now I don't worry as much as I used to. Story 70. Now, get a bag of large tortillas, a few cans of beans, some green sauce and cheese. See how many delicious meals you can create with these supplies and some leftovers. Story 71. Replaced all appliances before tariffs and am now saving cash in a high-yield savings account instead of investing while waiting for more layoffs. Story 72. I haven't done it yet, but I can tell others have. Some items are sitting on Facebook Marketplace much longer than expected. Some things are cheaper than they've been in a while, like gas, but others cost more. Most of our recurring food costs haven't really changed much, especially now that egg prices are returning to previous levels. Story 73. I haven't. I have enough in unpaid invoices to cover the next 3 months without working. Still booking jobs like crazy, though. I'll probably tighten my budget this summer when we usually go on theme park and beach trips. Story 74. Quit smoking marijuana. I was using an ounce every 5 to 7 days. I spent about $2 a day on blunts and $4 a day on weekends. No more snacks while I'm buying blunts. I am saving around $700 to $1,000 a month. Story 75. I am focused on paying down debt. I have a good job that is needed. I am not overly worried about layoffs, but I want to reduce my debt and have more disposable cash available. Story 76. Inflation has been affecting me significantly for at least 5 years now, so my habits have not changed much. I hardly buy anything I don't need anymore. I'm essentially surviving rather than living. There is not enough disposable income for anything enjoyable. Story 77. I was laid off recently after 5 years. I haven't been doing much and have isolated myself at home, pausing all my hobbies to save money. I'm eating as cheaply as possible, just what I absolutely need to live. Story 78. I just bought a house, so I am dealing with furniture hunting more than usual. A tip for anyone looking to buy furniture: Wayfair is great. It is honestly like a better version of IKEA, meaning that it features a lot of manufactured wood that ships flat pack, but it looks great and is low cost. Estate sales can also provide some great pieces for cheap. I have been asking myself, how bad do I need this? And will I need this in the next week? Or can I wait? Turns out I can go a while without needing a lot of stuff. Story 79. Honestly, I pay all my bills ahead of time and put some money into savings every month. I pay bills first, set aside savings, and then spend a little on going out and leisure activities. I still live with my family and I am only 23, so I am trying to take advantage of my situation while I can. Story 80. I stopped buying lunch at work and significantly reduced my overall eating out. I canceled most of my streaming and subscription services, including Amazon Prime. I significantly cut back my spending on products made in the United States. It is hard to avoid completely, but I prioritize Canadian products first and then products from other countries. The primary reasons for these changes were not necessarily financial, although that is a positive outcome. I stopped buying lunch because I realized that my sensitive stomach prefers my own cooking. As a Canadian, I am trying to minimize the money I spend in the United States, which is another reason for canceling my subscription services. This is especially true for Amazon, as they shut down their offices and distribution centers in my province due to unionization efforts. Story 81. I have been embracing life more. My wife and I have been saving for years for a future that may not materialize. We are preparing for potential economic challenges while also allowing ourselves some freedom. We have stocked up on essentials, of course. Story 82. I tend to stress eat and have been purchasing cheaper snack items to save money. My favorite drink, full sugar cola, has gone from a nice treat to a luxury. I have also switched from fresh to frozen or canned vegetables. Story 83. Limited ordering to once or twice per month. Eliminated nearly all recreational expenditures. I significantly reduced my standards for the kind of lifestyle I want to have when I finally get my life together. Story 84. What you really mean is how I have changed my spending habits in the past few years. The economy was already struggling under Biden before Trump. I no longer buy cereal. Story 85. My parents advised me to save money wherever possible, so I stopped drinking energy drinks. A 2-liter bottle of Earn Brew costs £1.69 at my local shop, while a smaller energy drink is £1.75. If you suggest getting the smaller Earn Brew, which is 330 milliliters, it costs £1.19. Therefore, for just 50 pence more, you can buy nearly 1.7 liters of Earn Brew from the larger bottle, making it a better investment for quenching my thirst. Story 86. Thanks to Trump being in office and undoing Biden's policies, I am starting to spend more money on my hobbies. This month, I placed an order on AliExpress that is in transit, and I also bought a new eShop game. Next month could go in several different directions, but I hope to make a second AliExpress order and purchase a book I have been tracking for 6 months, waiting for the price to drop enough. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.